Welcome to another edition of International Soccer Break. I'm your host, Sahil, and today we will be focusing on, for those of you who are Americans, our neighbors to the north with Canada. A lot of developments happening. And to help me on this journey, oh my goodness, it's Rahi and Roy again.
We're not the problem. We are not the problem here. That's not
Absolutely not. The sport is the problem.
Blame
Something-
Canada. Blame Canada, as they say.
Canada, blame Canada. You guys know that. You guys don't watch any television, do you?
No, we don't.
No,
Just
only,
soccer. Just
only
soccer.
read books, like
Yeah.
from like old school. Anyway, so gentleman
guy.
by the name of Jonathan Herdman, who was a longtime proponent of Canadian soccer, coached both the women and the men, has left and gone to that fantastic MLS team known as Toronto FC, Roy's favorite team.
Former home of Bob Bradley, Michael Bradley, Josie Altidore, all the greats.
Giovinco, man. Yeah.
Giovinco,
Such a horrible team. Toronto FC is a disaster, but that's for a different day, man.
Yeah.
He's going into an S show, if you know what I mean here.
He definitely is going into a situation like that. So let's take this opportunity for this episode. We're going to focus on our neighbors to the north, the Canada men's national team. We know them very well. Actually, Rahi and I had the honor of partying with them in Vegas. Won't talk about that at all, but let's get into the actual. Yeah, very nice guys. Yeah. Well, off the record stuff. We'll talk later. But
that is such a weird thing to say if it's untrue. What?
It's true. It's true. But very nice guys. But let's take this opportunity to kind of talk about a little bit about the national team and sort of the situation that the Canadian soccer finds themselves in.
Yeah, I mean, it's incredible to think that he's left the Canadian national team to go coach Toronto FC. I mean, this is a huge decision. A few years out from a World Cup, hosting a World Cup, there's no comparison in the size and the importance of these jobs, I think, right? So this signals something really serious where he said, look, I've had enough. I can't take this team any further. He no longer believed in the program, believed they were pushing forward. This signals a lot, Roy, to leave at this moment. It's a big thing. I don't know what it says about Canadian soccer.
It says a lot. It says a lot. The fact that he's going from, let's be real, Canadian soccer right now is a disaster. It's a total mess. A big reason why he's leaving, and he said it in press conferences, is that Canada is not serious about winning a World Cup. I don't get the resources. I don't get the funds to build a great program. And that was seen. They had the friendly setup. What was it? Saudi Arabia, I think South Korea, Japan. It was
Saudi Arabia and South Korea. They had those two.
Yeah.
They're still playing Japan, but they shelved those other two. Yes.
Well, they're the only team that doesn't have friendlies this window, basically, of the big three in our region. Yeah, they canceled those two games, which is what you're alluding to, Roy, right?
And they did the same before the World Cup as well. A lack of money from the federation. So what he's going from disaster to disaster. Probably Toronto's a bigger disaster, but he's going from no money to a lot of money. And money fixes disasters. And that's what he's banking on right now. But he is leaving because he loves this team, man. He loves Canada. But he's leaving because he doesn't feel the federation matches his level of motivation to win that World Cup for this team or get further.
Right?
The irony is that this is the most talented Canadian team that they've ever had in the history of their program, and the sad thing for them, and I suppose the good thing for American fans, is that they're not fully taking advantage of this team. They were the first place team in the last qualification round. They've played well against us every single time that we've played against them with the A team. It's just an unfortunate situation.
Yeah, but what a difference. Guys, what a difference between 2022 World Cup qualifiers and every game after that. Like, it's two different Canadian teams. World Cup qualifiers, Canada was phenomenal. They were excellent. They were killers. They won
Mexico and the US, both.
Yeah. But after that, what happens after that? Look at their World Cup. Look at their post-World Cup. It is a train wreck. Herdman lost that locker room. He lost the relationship with Alphonso Davies. He lost a relationship with several critical players. And I think he's feeling that. And that plus the lack of money, I think.
But look, the World Cup, they had an incredibly difficult group. At the time, we thought, look, they were the
Sure.
better team against Belgium. They were the better team against Belgium. Should have at least have taken a point from that game. And then
Yes,
he got
that
into trouble
one
with
game.
the comments about Croatia, and then Croatia effed him when he wanted to F
Mhm.
Croatia, etc. But look at that group, revisionist history. 2 semifinalists and Belgium. I mean, that's insane. Insanely difficult group. So looking back, looks a little better than we thought. I think he was tactically out of his depth against Croatia,
Big
but I
time.
don't think he lost the locker room. He's a
No,
master motivator, this guy.
I would agree. I think he is a master motivator. And look, even in the Nations League game that we were at and that we won, it wasn't smooth. It wasn't smooth sailing for parts of that game. I mean, there was the opportunities that they had. So anyway, moving forward now to the state of Canadian soccer as a whole. This was this was their guy, and now he's no longer there. So my onside offside topic of the day for you is Canada doomed now without Herdman? Are they going to straight up suck? So who wants to go first with this?
Raw man. Let's go alphabetical order, not in order of intelligence. Let's start lower intelligence to higher, which is also alphabetical. So
See, now
let's
you
go.
lost me. Now you lost me. Now I'm not following. But that might be a signal of my intelligence. I will say this. Let's give John Herdman some credit. He took Canada to new heights. He got these players to believe in themselves. They talked a ton of trash. He talked some trash, but they backed it up, man. I was scared of playing them in the Nations League final. I hated playing them in those qualifiers. He really took them to new heights. But I will say this, Canada will be fine without John Herdman. They will be fine without him because, and you might call me out for this, I don't think this is a difficult team to coach. It's very simple to understand the way they play best, which is to sit back, absorb some pressure, and then invite teams in to open up space for two of the best attacking wingers in the region. Alphonso Davies, the best player in the region. Tajon Buchanan, an insanely talented attacker. You know you're weak in the back, so you help defensively, and then you just bomb forward on the counterattack. It's pretty simple, I think. It's not complicated. And this team, I think, will be fine without Herdman, and I think he reached his ceiling. So while give him his props, I think this is offside. I'd still be very scared of Canada because they still are extremely talented, and players win tournaments.
Okay, so Rahi offside. Roy, what you got?
Herdman is the greatest coach that Canada has ever had. He has made them the best team in the region during qualifiers. That is unheard of for this Canadian team. They simply don't make World Cups. They're not good enough for this region to compete with teams like USA and Mexico. He made them good enough. He was an extreme motivator, but I think Canada is screwed regardless of whether Herdman would have stayed on. I think we started to see the Canada of old, even with Alphonso Davies, even with a much better roster. We started to see what Canada usually plays like after the World Cup, even during the World Cup. So I think his motivational speeches, his very Ted Lasso-esque way of training this team, his lack of tactical acumen, I think that all started to hit at the same time. He started to lose players during the locker room. I think this is more than just a rumor as well. I've heard very, very telling signs through The Athletic, through publications like that he lost
You're in
Alphonso
touch
Davies.
with the Canadian team. You know them quite well.
I am. I know. I partied with them in Las Vegas.
You did not party with them.
I
Only
did.
I
I
partied.
did just like
We
you. I was
partied
there
with
in the
them.
club next to them. When they left you guys, I was in the next door
I don't
club.
think they'd be happy about you saying that Herdman made this team. Excuse me. We had Jonathan David, Alphonso Davies, Tajon Buchanan, Steven Eustache. These are the most talented Canadian generation ever. How did
It's
Herdman
two things
create
happening
this
at the
team?
same time.
It's not that difficult when you have these players.
So
It's nothing
so
to
anyway,
believe
Roy,
in
what did you
yourself.
say? Roy, were you offside or onside?
I think regardless of who the coach is, Canada is screwed. I think the federation is too much of a disaster. I think a team can't succeed when the federation is a mess. They need to get their S together. Can't say bad words here. So I am going with Canada's screwed either way. So this doesn't really matter.
So you're offside.
I'm offside.
All right.
No,
So
you're
Roy's
onside,
offside.
right? Onside.
He said it's Canada's doomed without Herdman.
Has nothing to do with Herdman. Canada is
in
doomed
general, we're saying.
onside. Canada is doomed onside. Herdman has nothing to do with it.
Okay. I'm going to disagree with you both. I believe that actually, yes, I'm onside for this topic that Canada's doomed without Herdman, but because I think Herdman was a huge component of this particular program. Look, the talent is still there. Alfonso Davies still the best player in the region. Tejan Buchanan is still a fantastic player. Jonathan David, Kyle Aaron. Okay, you got all the pieces, but this guy was something special for them, and he was motivating them to get to that World Cup. And look, I think he would have been fantastic as a coach of the World Cup when they host. And so I think the Canadian Federation needs to get their, as Roy said, S together. Anyway, that's that. Continue for all you Canadian fans out there. Hopefully you guys can figure it out. And in the interim, we will say, as we always do, keep watching the beautiful game.
That's right.
Go Canada.
Right. Boom.
Canada has very good ice cream, man. Tiger Tail ice cream.